So then I'm like, okay, because here's the thing: is that there are solutions to frequency, but the types of solutions, if you just Google EMF blocking stuff, you will find more garbage than you'll believe. Because it's a completely, people don't know what EMFs are, so they don't know how to stop them, and they're scared. So they'll drop all kinds of money on little things, a little dot you can put on your phone, and it'll block the. No, if your phone works, it's not blocking the frequency. You see what I mean? I mean, it's something we really got to think about. If you're interested in solutions, there are solutions. The best things are to get us, distance matters. So that's why my phone here is less bad than if it were right up against my ear. The proximity matters. When you sleep matters more than when you're awake. So your sleep environment is the environment to protect the most. Guard yourselves against junk EMF blocking stuff, which is frequency devices plugged into a wall plug. That is, people are selling those things for big money like crazy, and they're not the solution. Why? Because a AC wall plug frequency device that doesn't know your biology is not going to save you from AC wall plug frequency devices that don't know your biology. Save your money. EMF blocking clothing. Stay away from. That's where they do clothing, they do hats, they do all this stuff. Like, why won't that work? Because if you yell in a cave, it echoes. Your voice is a frequency. See, so if I put a blocking thing that's open through my face and it's open, my shirt is an EMF blocking thing, what am I creating? A cage. For, or a cave for it to bounce around in. You see what I mean? So I'm just warning you about some of the things that are sold all the time as solutions that are going to make people worse off. There's a lot of practitioners out there that use frequency devices constantly, and that's kind of why I was talking about that. That frequency device isn't necessarily as bad as some of them that people use, but the frequency devices, they use them on you, and then you feel terrible, and they call it a healing crisis. And they say you're getting better, you're detoxing. It's like maybe those frequencies are just jacking you up. I don't think tech devices are the solution to health issues, especially mitochondrial disease. So that's why it is a tricky thing to navigate. Best things to do: kill your breakers in your bedroom at night.
Do what?
Kill your breakers to your bedroom at night.
Your breaker switch.
Yeah, that's the more electric stuff you can shut down at night, the better you're going to be.
And the less your electric bill.
Yeah, completely.
Make sure you don't turn the fridge off.
Yeah, that's the only one. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, that's the biggest, simplest, freest hack that you can possibly do to rid yourself of a lot of this stuff in your immediate environment. I can't tell you how many older people, it seems like the older people get, the more out of their inability to move causes them to bring tech to them. So they've got their chair, and then they've got their phone, and they've got their the everything, the TV, and it's all there in one room because they don't leave that room, and they're worried about their health. And I'm saying, like, you got to get this stuff out of this room, and sleep and heal in the environment that is it is completely terrible in your sleep environment. It's worse because the astrocyte cells in your brain do a spectrum frequency that tell your dividing cells what to become at night while you sleep. That's why your body, in terms of moving around, has to disengage because it uses that much charge. There's not enough electric charge to go around for you to both be awake and perform those functions. So your body says you have to stop moving around and being awake and disengage everything, and because we're going to shift gears and use all the frequency strength we have to help you recharge and rejuvenate and heal. So a lot of people wouldn't think that joint pain would be connected to low charge. It's obvious to me that the body is centralizing its energy to its mitochondrial dense brain and heart, taking it away from things at the edges that you can lose, and you see what I mean? So these are low charge issues. Most people that are dealing with joint pain think they don't have enough bricks to rebuild their joints. They're taking all kinds of stuff, right? To like, oh, I'm deficient in this or that. Well, you can stack up all the bricks in the world, but if you got your workers are not powered or paid, you don't need more bricks. We're not really that deficient. We eat a lot. And I know the food we eat in the modern day is not what it was. I know it's not. But I do know that our bodies are extremely resilient to utilize things that when they're actually deficient. Most of it is a low charge issue. And so the body is strategically, like, people are lucky that they have joint pain because that's keeping their heart going. Good for you. It's like, good. How's your heart doing? Oh, good. It's fine, but my joint's great. You know? Well, so certain cells in the brain is unique in terms of its cellular makeup. We know the brain does a lot of really complex things, right? So astrocyte cells in the brain are, the best way to explain it is just that they have, your brain is so mitochondrially dense, meaning it's electromagnetic. The expression of those electromagnetics comes from mitochondrially dense cells. So basically those cells have the ability to express frequency to communicate to less mitochondrially dense cells throughout the body, to give them the instructions. As they divide, your brain does not divide, like in terms of its cells, the way that the rest of your body does. That's how you stay you. The rest of your body changes, and you kind of stay here, and your brain is like a fractal version of you that then goes out. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So your electromagnetic brain communicates to your body in this way, using frequency, by the way, which is why, once again, like, if you're not taking into account your sleep environment above all else, the only thing that I promote in terms of I don't call it a device because it doesn't plug into a wall, it has zero tech, is called a Magnetico sleep pad, which is unidirectional magnetism. It's patented. It's the only one. So there's like 100 magnetic devices for healing out there, and I would say 99 out of the 100 are bad because they're bipolar. So if you know somebody who has knee pain and then they put a magnet on their knee, it makes it feel better for the first 2 weeks. It's because it's acting like acupuncture, and after the 2 weeks, it's starting to pull and deplete their charge. Pulling from where? Places that have it, like their heart and their brain, to the knee that they have pain in. Where let me just so I will say the Magnetico is unidirectional magnetism, like the Earth, because the Earth is so big that the magnetism comes down, up out of the south, down on us in the north. We're in unidirectional magnetism right now from the Earth. If it zeroed out, we would all drop, just like that.
That's so unique. I never thought of that.
So unidirectional magnetism is the key to understanding human history and modern health. Because as magnetism declines, unidirectional magnetism declines, charge expression, being electric, that generates frequency, is dictated by the amount of magnetism available, unidirectional magnetism in that field. Meaning the pot that the plant is planted in contains it to not allow for expression, meaning you can do a whole lot of things right, and if that with the plant, and you just might end up a root packed plant if you don't ever make the pot bigger. I don't know how to do it besides a Magnetico. The Magnetico is how I started all this, the reason I got into all this, and it made such an impact on my life that I wanted to learn everything I could about magnetism, which led me to electric, which led me to frequency. Because at the time, when I got the Magnetico, I had suffered horrible, horrible illness that almost killed me from being metal poisoned. And I was having complete heart arrhythmia stuff when I slept, where my heart was beating out of time with my body, and I was terrified. I was sleeping on a wall that had 5 smart meters on the other side of the wall. I didn't know. Did any doctors want to tell me anything about asking what's on the other side of your wall? Of course not, because that would be an environment. You see what I mean? An environmental issue instead of monitoring the heart. You see what I mean? So then that led me to the Magnetico. The Magnetico was the only way to do what's called magnochelation, which basically I had so much metal toxicity in my brain, I can chelate it from my dividing cells. But the brain is real hard to chelate. I mean, you can try like, you know, vitamin C and like there's different things that people try, but the cells don't divide. So the truth is it's a charge issue. Because anybody who talks about toxicity and doesn't talk about charge, the cells in your body are powered, they have a sodium potassium pump that's powered electromagnetically. That sodium potassium pump, when the charge drops off, it shuts down. And as an emergency, it opens up the calcium channel and it lets in positively charged toxins during that emergency window. If your charge never comes back up, you're living in the emergency window. What does it mean? It means you get calcified and toxic, which is why toxins, you have one person that's exposed to a toxin and another person is exposed to the same toxin. One gets sick, one doesn't. Why? Charge.